My dad's girlfriend told me I'd never be as pretty as her daughter. So at dinner, I told her she'd never be as pretty as my mom. She left in tears. I was 14 when Dad started dating Veronica. My mom had died 2 years earlier from breast cancer, and Dad said he was ready to move on. Veronica showed up wearing designer everything with her daughter Bella trailing behind like an accessory. That first dinner was when it started. Veronica kept mentioning how Bella had modeled for local boutiques, won pageants, how boys followed her around. Meanwhile, I sat there in my mom's old cardigan, still wearing the grief weight I'd gained. You know, Veronica said, Bella could give you some beauty tips. Help you fix yourself up. Dad said nothing. The comments became constant. She'd sigh when I came downstairs. Buy Bella expensive clothes and leave the tags on. Schedule spa days for just the two of them. But worst was how she talked about my mom, boxing up her things within a month. 6 months in, they announced their engagement. My mom's office became Bella's room. Her yoga studio became Veronica's closet. During the reception, Veronica pulled me aside. Your father chose me, chose us. And frankly, you need to work on yourself if you ever want someone to choose you. You'll never be as pretty as Bella, but you could at least try. I was 15 years old. For 2 years, I disappeared. Wore baggy clothes, skipped family dinners. Then I turned 17 and decided I was done. Started running, learned makeup, bought clothes that fit. Not for them, but because I was tired of being invisible. By 18, I looked like my mom. Same cheekbones, same smile. But more importantly, I'd found my spine. The night it happened, Dad insisted on a family dinner to celebrate Bella's college acceptance. She'd gotten into a state school with mediocre grades, but Veronica acted like she'd won a Nobel Prize. So, have you thought about your plans? Veronica asked me. College might not be realistic, but there are trade schools. Bella smirked. She was 20 now, working part-time, still living at home. Something in me snapped. Actually, I got into Northwestern, full academic scholarship. Silence. Oh, well, that's nice. Of course, academic success isn't everything. Beauty and charm matter too. Right, Bella? I set down my fork. My hands were steady. Speaking of beauty, I've been thinking about what you told me, about how I'd never be as pretty as Bella. Veronica's smile froze. And you're right. I'll never look like Bella. I'll look like my mom instead. And honestly, Veronica, you'll never be as pretty as my mom was. You'll never be as kind, as genuine, as loved. You can buy all the designer clothes you want, erase every trace of her, but you'll never be her. And deep down, you know that's why you've spent 3 years trying to make me disappear. Because every time Dad looks at me, he sees her. And every time he looks at you, he remembers what he lost. The color drained from her face. How dare you? I'm not finished. Bella, those pageants you won? Mom judged them before she got sick. She told me they were participation trophies. Small towns, no real competition. She said you had potential, but your mom pushed you too hard, made you mean. She actually felt sorry for you. Bella's mouth fell open. I stood up, grabbed my bag. I'm moving in with Aunt Rachel. Thanks for the memories. I walked out while Veronica started crying, loud gasping sobs. Dad just sat there, frozen. That night, my phone exploded. Veronica called 47 times. I stayed at Aunt Rachel's, finished senior year, left for Northwestern. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. College was freedom. Northwestern felt like a different planet. Nobody knew about Veronica or Bella or the girl I'd been in high school. I dove into my classes, made actual friends, joined study groups, met a guy from my biology class named Christopher who thought I was beautiful without makeup. You know you're gorgeous, right? He said one morning. I'm really not. You really are. Has anyone ever told you that? My mom did, before she died. I cried then, because it had been so long since someone had said something kind about my appearance without critique. I posted photos occasionally, living my life. I barely thought about Veronica or Bella, but they were thinking about me. My sophomore year, Bella sent a friend request. I ignored it. She sent another, then another from different accounts. The requests kept coming. Finally, a message. We should talk, please. Mom misses you. Family is important. I blocked her. Then Veronica started commenting on my posts. Beautiful girl, so proud of you. Creating a narrative where she was the loving stepmom, and I was ungrateful. I made all my accounts private. Dad called once a month. Awkward conversations where he'd ask about classes and I'd give one-word answers. He never apologized. Once he said, Veronica really does care about you. She's just protective of Bella. I almost hung up. Instead, I said, Dad, she told me I'd never be as pretty as Bella. While I was 15 and grieving mom. That's cruelty. Silence. Then, people say things they don't mean when emotions are high. I hung up. I didn't go home for holidays, spent them with Christopher's family. His mom said, you're always welcome here. That's what family was supposed to feel like. Junior year, Aunt Rachel called late one Tuesday. Your dad's in the hospital. Heart attack. It's serious. I was in my car within 20 minutes. Whatever had happened between us, he was still my father. The hospital waiting room was full, and there was Veronica, playing the devoted wife. Bella scrolled through her phone, bored. I brushed past them. Dad looked small in the hospital bed. Tubes everywhere, monitors beeping. Hey, kiddo, he whispered. Hey, Dad. Tears filled his eyes. I'm sorry for everything. I was lonely after your mom and thought Veronica would help us move on, but I let her treat you like you didn't matter. Don't talk. Just rest. I heard what she said to you at the engagement party, the wedding. I said nothing because I was afraid she'd leave. I chose comfort over my own child. I stayed quiet because he was right. I stayed at the hospital for 3 days. Dad stabilized, but his heart was damaged. He'd need surgery. Veronica played perfect wife for the nurses. But I watched her when they left. How she'd pull out her phone. How her face would light up at certain texts. On the third night, I heard her on her phone. I know, babe. Just a few more days. Once he signs the insurance paperwork, we're golden. I started paying attention. Noticed how she'd disappear. Return smelling like cologne. One night, I followed her to the parking garage. A man got out of a BMW. They kissed. I took photos. Sat in Dad's room while he slept, looking at him. He'd lost at least 15 pounds. Deep circles under his eyes. Hair grayer than I remembered. This heart attack had aged him a decade. When Veronica returned an hour later, hair definitely messed up now. I was waiting in the hallway. We need to talk, I said quietly. Not now. I'm exhausted. Do you know how hard it is to be here constantly, worrying? Now, outside. Something in my voice made her follow. We went to an empty family consultation room. I closed the door and showed her the photos. Every single one. Wide shots, close-ups. No room for misinterpretation. Her face went white, then red, then purple. You're spying on me? You little, who is he? She crossed her arms. None of your business. Wrong answer. Try again. Or what? You'll tattle to Daddy? He won't believe you. Want to bet? I can send these to him right now. Or to Aunt Rachel, Uncle Tom, every single person in that waiting room. Or we can talk. Your choice. 5 seconds. She glanced at the door, calculating. Finally, his name is Derek. We've been seeing each other for 8 months. 8 months. While married to my father. What does he do? He's in commercial real estate. Very successful. I'm sure. So you were cheating on my dad before the heart attack. Your dad is old, boring. Do you know what it's like being married to someone who watches golf and goes to bed at 9:30? I needed something for myself. Some excitement. I wanted to hit her. Wanted to scream. Instead, I kept my voice level. Get out. Excuse me? Leave. Divorce him. Take your daughter and get out of our lives. She actually laughed. You think it's that simple? I'm his wife. Legal wife. I have rights. Half of everything. And frankly, honey, your dad isn't going to believe you over me. I've spent 3 years building trust. You've spent 3 years running away. Who do you think he'll choose? We'll see. But part of me knew she was right. When Dad woke up later that morning, stronger, more alert, I showed him the photos. Sat on the edge of his bed and walked him through every piece of evidence. Veronica cried. Beautiful, Oscar-worthy tears. Said Derek was an old friend from college. She'd run into him at the hospital cafe. They'd been catching up. The photos looked bad, she knew, but I'd taken them out of context. She'd never betray Dad. She loved him. This was what happens when families don't communicate, when resentments build, when daughters feel replaced and lash out. She's lying, I said. Dad, she's cheating on you. I heard her on the phone. She called you boring. Said she was waiting for you to sign insurance paperwork. You misheard, Veronica said gently. I was talking to my sister about her husband. You know she's having marriage problems. That's bullshit. Language, Dad said quietly. He looked between us, exhausted. Why are you doing this? I'm trying to protect you. From what? From the woman who's been by my side every single day? Who rearranged her entire life to be here? You're angry, I understand that. I failed you. But don't punish Veronica for my mistakes. She's using you. She made a mistake. Reconnected with an old friend inappropriately. We all make mistakes when we're stressed. I'm not losing another person I love over a mistake. I looked at Veronica. She looked back with this tiny, triumphant smile. She'd won. I left the hospital that afternoon, drove back to Northwestern, cried the entire 4 hours. So hard I had to pull over twice. 2 months later, Dad had his bypass surgery. I didn't visit. Sent flowers with a card. Veronica posted photos on Facebook of herself in scrubs, captioned, waiting for my love to wake up. Strongest man I know. Char's blessed, char's your family first. The comments were full of praise. You're such a good wife. He's lucky to have you. What a beautiful love story. I wanted to vomit, but I wasn't done. Not even close. I'd started digging through Dad's finances. I'd had access to his account since high school, had helped Mom with bills before she died. Dad never changed the passwords. What I found made my stomach drop. Large withdrawals, $5,000 here, $3,000 there. Cash advances on credit cards I didn't recognize. Charges at expensive hotels in the city, designer stores, jewelry stores, all within the last year. All while Dad was working 60-hour weeks to pay for Bella's car, her college tuition, the house renovations Veronica insisted on. I made spreadsheets, documented everything, cross-referenced dates with Dad's calendar, found charges at boutique hotels the same afternoons Veronica claimed to be at yoga or the salon, found jewelry purchases that I'd never seen her wear around Dad, but that appeared in her Instagram photos with different timestamps. Then I found the bank account, joint account, Dad's name and Veronica's. But the only person making deposits was Dad. The only person making withdrawals was Veronica, to the tune of $87,000 over 2 years. I called Aunt Rachel. She'd worked as a paralegal before retiring. What do I do with this? She was quiet for a long moment. You document everything. Then you find a lawyer. Will Dad hate me? Probably at first. But would you rather he hate you while alive or have Veronica drain his accounts until there's nothing left? The lawyer's name was Patricia Chen. Aunt Rachel knew her from church. She looked at my documentation, asked sharp questions, made notes. This is financial abuse, she said, clear cut. The affair gives us leverage for the divorce. The secret accounts could be considered fraud depending on how they were opened. Does your father have a will? Yes. He updated it after Mom died. I'm the beneficiary. Has he updated it since remarrying? I felt cold. I don't know. We need to find out. If Veronica has convinced him to change it and something happens to him, you could lose everything your mother left you. I hadn't even thought of that. Mom's life insurance, the house she'd inherited from her parents, her savings, all left to Dad with the understanding it would come to me. We built a case. It took 6 weeks. Documentation of financial abuse, screenshots of the affair, hotel receipts, witness statements from hospital staff who'd seen Veronica with Derek, phone records showing hundreds of calls and texts between them. The day Dad was discharged from the hospital, I was waiting at the house, our house, the one Mom had decorated, that Veronica had systematically erased. We need to talk, I told Dad. All of us. Living room. Now. Dad looked tired, frail, but he nodded. Veronica looked nervous. Bella looked annoyed, like I'd interrupted her Instagram scrolling. In the living room, I laid it out. Every receipt, every photo, every piece of evidence. Showed him the hotel charges on his credit card, $400 for a Tuesday afternoon in September while he'd been at work. Showed him the jewelry purchases, $3,000 for a diamond bracelet that wasn't in Veronica's jewelry box. Showed him the bank statements, the massive transfers. She's stealing from you. She's cheating on you. And she's been doing it for at least 8 months, probably longer. Dad's face crumpled as he looked through the papers. Veronica didn't even try to deny it this time. Just sat there, arms crossed, jaw set. So what? She finally said. You think he's going to throw me out? He needs me. Look at him. He can barely walk upstairs without getting winded. Who's going to take care of him? You? You ran away to college and never looked back. I ran away because you made my home a war zone. I gave you a reality check. The world isn't kind to plain girls, honey. I was trying to help you manage your expectations. You told a 15-year-old girl she'd never be as pretty as your daughter. While she was grieving her mother, you boxed up Mom's things, erased her from her own house. You married Dad for his money, and when he wasn't rich enough, you found someone who was. Your father was a mess when I met him, crying, pathetic, living in the past. I brought life back into this house. I gave him purpose. You gave him debt, and an STD scare, I'm guessing, based on these urgent care visits. Veronica's face went white. Dad looked up sharply. Derek's married, by the way, I continued, with 3 kids. I hired a private investigator. He's done this before. Multiple affairs. You're not special, Veronica. You're just convenient. Get out, Dad said quietly. Everyone turned to look at him. Excuse me? Veronica said. Get out, both of you, now, out of my house. This is my house, too. Get out. Bella jumped up. Mom, we're not going anywhere, Veronica snapped. You can't kick me out. I'm your wife. I have rights. I pulled out the lawyer's card, set it on the coffee table. Dad's filing for divorce, financial abuse, adultery, fraud. Oh, and that joint account you've been using as your personal ATM, that's criminal. Our lawyer's really excited about that part. For the first time since I'd met her, Veronica looked genuinely scared. You can't prove. I can prove all of it. Bank statements, photos, witness testimony, phone records. You got sloppy, Veronica. Too confident. I'll fight this. I'll take everything. You'll try. But Illinois isn't a community property state, and adultery matters here. You'll be lucky to leave with anything. They left that afternoon. It took 6 hours. Veronica tried everything, crying, begging, threatening to call the police, claiming I'd fabricated evidence. Dad just sat in his chair, looking older than I'd ever seen him, and said nothing. At the door, Veronica turned to me. Bella was already in the car, loading boxes. You're just like your mother, she hissed. Self-righteous, judgmental, acting like you're so perfect. Well, you know what? She wasn't that great. Your dad told me all about her, how controlling she was, how she wouldn't let him make any decisions, how difficult she made everything. He was relieved when she died. I smiled. My mom was dying of cancer and still managed to be kinder than you've ever been healthy. That must eat at you. The fact that even dying, even in pain, she was a better person than you. That deep down, you know Dad never loved you. You were just warm body keeping the bed from being empty. Veronica's hand flew up. For a second, I thought she'd actually hit me. Instead, she dropped her arm, grabbed her last bag, and walked out. The divorce took 8 months. Veronica fought for everything. Tried to claim half of Dad's business, the house, ongoing spousal support, compensation for emotional distress, money for Bella's therapy needs due to the trauma of separation. Her lawyer was expensive and aggressive. Our lawyer was better. The affairs killed her case. So did the financial records. Turns out she'd opened credit cards in Dad's name without telling him, forged his signature on loan documents. The fraud charges were real. In the end, she got $30,000 and her car. No house, no business assets, no spousal support, no claim to anything of Mom's. She moved into an apartment in the city with Bella, posted photos of their fresh start with inspirational quotes about resilience. Bella sent me a message the day the divorce was finalized. I hope you're happy. You destroyed my family. I blocked her without responding. Dad and I started rebuilding. It was slow, painful. He'd cry at random moments, apologize for things from years ago. I'd tell him it was okay even when it wasn't, because that's what you do with broken parents who are trying. We cleared out Veronica's changes to the house, brought back Mom's photos, found boxes of her things Veronica had hidden in the garage, repainted the walls from Veronica's cold gray back to Mom's warm cream. It felt like performing an exorcism. I thought I could replace her, Dad admitted one night. We were sitting in the living room, Mom's room, surrounded by her paintings and books and the quilt she'd made. Your mom. I thought if I found someone beautiful, confident, alive, it would hurt less. But it just hurt different. And I let it hurt you too. Yeah, you did. I don't know how to fix that. You can't. You can just do better going forward. Am I forgiven? I thought about it. I don't know yet, but I'm here. It was the most honest I could be. I graduated Northwestern with honors, got accepted to 3 medical schools, chose the one closest to home so I could check on Dad regularly, started dating a pediatric surgeon named Elliot who'd lost his mom to ovarian cancer when he was 16. We understood each other's scars, the shape of the holes parents leave. Medical school was brutal in the best way, consuming, exhausting, exactly what I needed. I threw myself into anatomy, physiology, pathology, learned to save lives, to fix what was broken, spent nights in the library, days in the hospital, barely sleeping, but feeling purposeful for the first time. Elliot understood. He'd walk the same path. We'd study together, quiz each other on surgical procedures, share takeout at 2 a.m. in the hospital cafeteria. He'd tell me about his mom, how she'd fought for 3 years, how she'd made him promise to become a doctor to help other kids whose moms were sick. That's why I chose pediatrics, he said. Every kid I help is a kid who won't lose their mom like I did. That's beautiful. It's also exhausting. Sometimes I see a kid with a sick parent and I'm right back there, 16 years old, watching my mom die. But I keep going because what else can I do? I understood that completely. Dad improved steadily, started walking every morning, eating vegetables, taking his medications religiously, went to cardiac rehab 3 times a week, joined a support group for divorced men, made friends with other guys who'd made similar mistakes, learned to process his grief and guilt. He'd call me weekly, tell me about his progress, ask about school. The conversations got easier, less loaded with pain. Sometimes we'd even laugh. Patricia invited me to dinner, he said one call. The teacher from the book club? Yeah. Is that okay? I mean, I know it's soon. Dad, it's been almost 2 years since the divorce. You're allowed to have a life. I don't want to make another mistake. Then go slow. Get to know her. Actually listen to what she says. Don't ignore red flags because you're lonely. He was quiet. Then, that's good advice. Wish I'd followed it with Veronica. We all wish that. I met Patricia a month later. She was nothing like Veronica. Round where Veronica was angular. Soft where Veronica was sharp. She wore comfortable jeans and an old cardigan. No makeup. Smile lines around her eyes. She hugged me when we met. Not the performative kind, but real, warm, genuine. Your dad talks about you constantly, she said. I feel like I already know you. Good things, I hope. Complicated things. Honest things. He doesn't hide what he did, how he failed you. Says he's trying to be better. He is. We had dinner at Dad's house, the 3 of us. Patricia brought terrible cookies she'd baked with her kindergarten class, laughed about how awful they were, said the kids loved them anyway. She asked me about medical school and actually listened, asked follow-up questions, seemed genuinely interested. After dinner, while Dad was making coffee, Patricia pulled me aside. I'm not trying to replace your mom, she said quietly, or be your mother figure. Just hoping to be your dad's partner and maybe, eventually, your friend. I appreciate that. He talks about your mom a lot, about how much he loved her, how he'll never stop loving her. I'm okay with that. I loved my husband, lost him to a heart attack 5 years ago. I understand that grief doesn't disappear just because you meet someone new. Thank you for understanding that, she smiled. He's lucky to have you, to have a daughter who gave him another chance. I wasn't sure I'd given him a real chance yet, but I was trying. The weeks turned into months. Medical school consumed me. I was excelling, top of my class in several courses, being courted by residency programs. Elliot and I got serious, moved in together in a tiny apartment near the hospital. Dad and Patricia became official. Took things slow, rebuilt the house into something that honored both Mom's memory and Patricia's presence. She put Mom's quilt on the guest bed. Dad told me one visit. Said every home needs quilts made with love. She's been helping me go through Mom's things. Not to throw them away, but to honor them properly. We're making a memory box, photos and letters and small things. Patricia's idea. I felt something loosen in my chest. That's nice, Dad. She's good for me. Makes me want to be better. That's what the right person does. 3 years after the divorce, life felt almost normal. I was in my 2nd year of medical school. Elliot had been offered a fellowship at Johns Hopkins. Dad and Patricia were talking about getting engaged. Aunt Rachel was healthy. The house felt like home again. Then Aunt Rachel called with news. You're not going to believe this. Veronica had gotten engaged. To Derek, the guy from the hospital. Quick wedding, small ceremony, already posting photos. Back to her perfect life performance. Good for her, I said. I meant it. She was someone else's problem now. Derek's wife took him for everything in the divorce. Apparently Veronica didn't know he was actually broke, heavily in debt from failed investments. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. 6 months later, Bella showed up at my apartment. I'd moved off campus by then. Small 1-bedroom in a safe neighborhood. Was studying for my anatomy final when someone knocked. Looked through the peephole and froze. Bella looked different, thinner, tired. The pageant shine was gone. Dark circles under her eyes. Wearing Target clothes instead of designer brands. I almost didn't open the door, but something in her face stopped me. I need to talk to you, she said. No preamble, no small talk. I let her in. She sat on my couch, hands shaking. I sat across from her, waiting. Mom's getting married, she started. I heard. Derek's horrible. Her voice cracked. He started hitting her. Now he's starting with me. Everything in me went still. Have you called the police? She won't let me. Says it'll ruin the marriage, ruin her chance at stability. Says I'm being dramatic. Bella looked up, eyes red. She told me I deserved it. That I was too mouthy, too difficult, that I needed to learn my place. Just like she used to say about you. I sat down beside her. Bella, you need to leave. Get out of that house tonight. I have nowhere to go. No money. I dropped out of college sophomore year when mom said it was too expensive. Work retail part-time at a makeup counter. Can barely afford gas. She was crying now. Years of pain spilling out. I don't have anyone. My dad's been gone since I was 6. Sends birthday cards sometimes. Mom's family cut her off years ago. I have no one. I looked at this girl I'd hated for years. This woman, really. She was 23, trapped, repeating her mother's patterns because she didn't know there was another way. You can stay here, I heard myself say. Just temporarily. Until you figure things out. She stared at me. Why would you help me after everything I did to you? Because my mom would have. And I'm trying to be more like her. Bella moved in the next day with 2 suitcases and a backpack. Everything she owned. She slept on my couch, worked double shifts at the makeup counter, slowly saved money. We didn't talk much at first. The silence was careful, loaded with history. Then gradually we did talk. She told me about growing up with Veronica. The pageants she'd hated, but had to win. The constant criticism about her weight, her face, her performance. How Veronica would withhold food before competitions, monitor every bite. How she'd slap Bella backstage if she cried, scream at her for not smiling big enough, tell her she was worthless without her looks. She told me I was lucky, Bella said one night. We were eating pizza, sitting on the floor because my apartment was too small for a real dining table. That pretty girls had power, that we had to use it right. Marry rich, be perfect. She said that's what she did with your dad, secured her future. My dad isn't rich. She thought he was. The house, his business, the cars. She thought she'd hit the jackpot. When she realized he was just comfortable, not wealthy, she started looking elsewhere. That's when Derek showed up. She'd meet him at his office, tell me she was networking for a job. I saw them together once. Asked her about it. She said it was none of my business, that she was securing my future. I thought about Veronica's comments about my appearance, about my worth. She'd done the same thing to her own daughter, used beauty as a weapon and a prison. I'm sorry, Bella said quietly, for how I treated you. I was copying her. Thought that's what I was supposed to do. Thought if I was mean enough, perfect enough, she'd love me. Did she? No, she loved what I represented. Proof she'd done something right. But me, as a person? Bella shook her head. I don't think she's capable of loving anyone but herself. I know. Do you think I can be different? Like, actually different? Or am I too much like her? You're here, aren't you? You left. She never would have. Over the next 6 months, Bella transformed. She enrolled in community college psychology classes, started therapy twice a week, working through years of abuse, got a job at a bookstore she actually liked, quit the makeup counter, cut contact with Veronica entirely, blocked her number, her social media, everything. The therapy was hard. Bella would come home from sessions exhausted, eyes red, emotionally raw. She'd tell me things that made my blood boil. How Veronica used to make her stand on a scale every morning, recording her weight in a notebook. How she'd compare Bella to other girls, pointing out girls who were prettier, thinner, more successful. How she'd threatened to kick Bella out if she didn't win competitions, telling her she was worthless without titles and crowns. Dr. Martinez asked me today what I wanted to be when I grow up, Bella said one evening. Not what career or whatever, what kind of person. And I realized I didn't know. My whole life has been about being pretty, being perfect, being what mom wanted. I don't know who I am underneath all that. You'll figure it out. You have time. I'm 23. Most people know by now. Most people haven't spent their whole life being controlled by a narcissist. Give yourself grace. She started discovering things about herself. Liked reading fantasy novels, horror movies, spicy food. Hated the color pink even though Veronica had dressed her in it for years. Wanted to study psychology to help other people escape abusive families. Had a beautiful singing voice she'd never used because Veronica said it wasn't as important as being pretty. One night, I came home to find her on the couch surrounded by photo albums. I found these in storage, she said. From when I was little, before the pageants really started. I sat down beside her. The photos showed a different Bella. Round-faced, gap-toothed, wearing overalls and grass-stained t-shirts. Smiling genuine smiles, not pageant smiles. Playing in mud puddles, holding a frog, building sandcastles. I was happy then, she said quietly. Before mom decided I could be her ticket to something better. Before she realized my face could be valuable. You can be happy again. How do you know? Because you're already different than you were 6 months ago. You laugh now. Real laughs. Not performative ones. You eat without apologizing. You wear comfortable clothes. That's progress. She wiped her eyes. Thank you for this. For not giving up on me. Thank yourself. You're the one doing the work. She started attending a support group for adult children of narcissistic parents. Made friends with people who understood. Started dating someone she met there. A quiet guy named Marcus who'd escaped his own toxic family. They bonded over shared trauma and the hard work of healing. I watched her become more confident. More herself. She cut her long hair short. Donated it to cancer patients. Said she was done having princess hair. Got her first tattoo. A quote from a poem she loved. Transferred to a 4-year university. Declared a psychology major, talked about graduate school. Meanwhile, Veronica's marriage imploded spectacularly. Derek cheated with a 25-year-old, left Veronica for her. Veronica, now 51, suddenly found herself where she'd put others, alone, with fewer options, facing an uncertain future. She tried calling Bella, then me, then Dad, None of us answered. She posted on social media about betrayal, about how families should stick together. The comments were sparse. People had figured her out. One Saturday morning, someone knocked on my apartment door. Bella was at work. I looked through the peephole and there she was. Veronica. I almost didn't answer, but Bella needed to see this. Needed to know she could face her mother without falling apart. I texted her, "Your mom's here. Come home when you can." Then I opened the door. Veronica looked older. The designer clothes were gone, replaced with normal Kohl's brands. Her hair needed dyeing, roots showing gray. She wasn't ugly, just ordinary, aging, human. The armor had cracked. "I need help," she said. No greeting, no apology, just need. "No, please. I have nowhere else to go. Derek took everything. I can't make rent. I just need a small loan to get back on my feet. I'll pay you back, I promise." "No, but we're family. Your dad and I may be divorced, but we had history, and I was part of your life for years, and you were never part of my life. You were an invader, a parasite. Don't be dramatic. I made mistakes, yes, but I was good to your father. You cheated on him while he was recovering from a heart attack. You stole $87,000 from him. You committed fraud. You abused your own daughter. You made my teenage years hell because you were insecure and cruel. I gave you valuable life lessons about how the world works. You told a grieving 15-year-old she was ugly." Veronica's jaw tightened. "I was trying to help you have realistic expectations." Behind me, the door opened. Bella walked in, still wearing her bookstore name tag. She froze when she saw her mother. Veronica's face lit up with desperate hope. "Bella, sweetheart, thank God. Tell her we need to help each other. I'm your mother. I gave you everything." Bella set down her bag slowly, walked to stand next to me. "No." "What?" "No, I'm done. But I'm your mother. I sacrificed everything for you. Those pageants were expensive. Your clothes, your car. You gave me trauma," Bella said. Her voice was steady, strong, and eating disorders, and the belief that my only value was my face. It's taken 2 years of therapy to start undoing that. So no, Mom, figure it out yourself. You're both ungrateful bitches. I made you. Without me, you'd be nothing. Without you, I interrupted, we'd have been happy much sooner. Goodbye, Veronica. I closed the door, heard her crying in the hallway, begging, pounding on the door. Eventually, she left. Bella and I sat on the couch, both shaking. "Is it wrong that I feel guilty?" she asked. "No. She trained you to feel guilty. That's how abusers maintain control. She's going to end up alone." "Yes, that's what happens when you treat people like property." 6 months later, Dad called with news. Veronica had moved to Arizona, living with a cousin, working at a department store, cosmetics counter. She'd tried calling him too, asking for money, claiming she was destitute. He'd declined. "Do you think I'm being too harsh?" he asked. "No, Dad. I think you're finally setting boundaries. Your mom would be proud of you, of who you've become, how you helped Bella." "Thanks, Dad. Today, I'm finishing my residency in pediatrics." Bella graduated with her associate's degree, transferred to a 4-year school for psychology. She wants to work with abuse survivors. Dad's healthy, dating a genuinely kind woman named Patricia, who teaches kindergarten and bakes terrible cookies, but has the warmest laugh I've ever heard. Last week, Bella and I went to lunch. She brought her boyfriend, a soft-spoken artist named Marcus, who paints abstract landscapes and looks at her like she's extraordinary for reasons that have nothing to do with her face. "I've been thinking," she said, "about what happened at that dinner. When you told Mom she'd never be as pretty as your mom." "Yeah, that was the first time anyone ever stood up to her. I'd been watching her tear you down for years, and I just went along with it, because I thought that's what you were supposed to do. But that night you showed me it was possible to say no, to have a spine. I think that's when something cracked for me. It took years to actually leave, but that was the start. I'd never thought about it that way. That my breaking point had been her wake-up call." "Your mom was prettier than mine," Bella said. "Not physically. I mean, I never met her, so I don't know. But from everything your dad says, everything I've learned, she was beautiful in ways my mom will never understand. The kind that doesn't fade." "Thank you." We finished lunch, made plans for next week. As I drove home, I thought about that dinner 4 years ago, how I'd finally used my voice after years of silence. Sometimes the cruelest thing someone can say becomes the kindest thing you can learn to say back. Not to hurt, but to define yourself. To draw a line between who they told you to be and who you actually are. Veronica spent years trying to make me believe I was less than, less pretty, less valuable, less worthy of love. She used the same tactics on her own daughter, her mirror image, proving it was never about beauty at all. It was about control, power, the pleasure of making someone smaller so you can feel big. But here's what she never understood. Beauty isn't currency. It's not a weapon or a shield or a measuring stick for human worth. It's just one small part of who we are. And the most beautiful people I know are beautiful because of how they treat others, not how they look doing it. My mom knew that, lived that. Even dying, she was kind to her nurses, grateful for small mercies, concerned about how Dad and I would manage. She made people feel seen, valued, loved. That's what I'm trying to build in my own life. That's what Bella's learning too. Last month, I visited Mom's grave, brought her favorite flowers, white roses, told her about medical school, about Bella, about Dad's recovery and his new girlfriend. "I think I finally look like you," I said out loud. Not just my face. The other parts too. The ones that actually matter. The wind picked up, moving through the trees. I took it as agreement. Today, I'm finishing my residency in pediatrics. The long hours, the exhausted nights, the heart-wrenching cases, all of it feels right. I chose pediatrics because of mom. Because I remember being a scared kid with a sick parent. Remember how much it mattered when doctors treated me like I mattered too. Last week I had a case that reminded me why I'm here. 7-year-old girl, leukemia, terrified mother who hadn't left her side in 3 weeks. The mom looked like I'd felt in high school. Exhausted, drowning, trying to be strong while falling apart. I sat with her during her daughter's treatment. Explained everything in plain language. Held her hand when she cried. Got her coffee and made sure she ate. Small things. The things nurses did for mom that made the unbearable slightly more bearable. Thank you, she said as I was leaving. Not just for the medical stuff, for seeing me, for remembering I'm a person too. Not just a patient's mom. That's what mom would have done. Seen the whole person, not just the crisis. Bella graduated last spring with her bachelor's in psychology. Gave a speech at commencement about breaking cycles of abuse, about choosing healing over bitterness. I sat in the audience next to Dad and Patricia, all of us crying. She's applying to grad schools now, wants to specialize in family therapy, help other people escape situations like ours. Do you think I can actually help people? She asked me last month. We were having dinner, our weekly tradition. Or am I too broken to fix anyone else? The best therapists are the ones who've been broken and did the work to heal. You know what it's like. You can meet people where they are. Dr. Martinez says the same thing. Dr. Martinez is smart. Marcus, her boyfriend, joined us. He's good for her. Patient, kind, has his own trauma he's worked through. They're talking about moving in together, taking things slow, building something healthy. My mom called me yesterday, he told us. His mom had been emotionally abusive, used guilt and manipulation to control him. First time in a year. Said she needed money, that I was a bad son for abandoning her. What did you do? Bella asked. Said no. Hung up. Blocked the number. He smiled. Your stories helped. Knowing you both got out and stayed out. That's the thing about surviving abuse. Your escape can be someone else's blueprint. Elliot and I are engaged now. Small proposal, nothing fancy. We were studying in the hospital library at 2 a.m., both exhausted, and he just looked up and said, we should get married. That's the most unromantic proposal I've ever heard. I know, but I mean it. You're my person. I want to build a life with you. Okay. Yeah, let's get married. We're planning a small wedding. Dad's walking me down the aisle. Patricia's helping plan. Bella's my maid of honor. Aunt Rachel's crying every time we talk about it. Elliot's dad is flying in from Seattle. It's small, intimate, just people who actually matter. Veronica won't be there. Won't even know it's happening. Last I heard, she was still in Arizona, still working retail, still posting occasional inspirational quotes on social media about resilience and comebacks. Her last post was 3 months ago. Before that, 6 months. The perfect life she'd curated had crumbled completely. Sometimes I wonder if she thinks about us, about the family she destroyed through her own cruelty, about the daughter she abused and the stepdaughter she tormented. If she has any regrets, any moments of self-awareness, probably not. People like Veronica don't do self-reflection. They do self-pity, victimhood, blame everyone else. Dad and Patricia got engaged 2 months ago. They're planning a quiet wedding at a botanical garden, just family. It's nothing like his wedding to Veronica. No performance, no designer dresses, no pretense. Just 2 people who found each other in middle age and decided to build something real. Are you okay with this? Dad asked when he told me. I know another wedding might bring up things. I'm happy for you. Patricia's good for you. She's nothing like Veronica. I know. That's why it works. He paused. I'm sorry for everything. I know I've said it before, but I need you to know I mean it. What I allowed to happen to you, what I let Veronica do. Dad, we've been through this. You've apologized. You've done the work. You've changed. That's what matters. Your mother would have fought harder, would have protected you better. Mom's not here. You are, and you're trying. That counts. He cried then, like he does sometimes. Grief and guilt mixed together in a way that might never fully separate. I think about Mom a lot. Wonder what she'd think of who I've become. Would she be proud that I'm a doctor? That I helped Bella escape? That I stood up to Veronica? Or would she be disappointed that I didn't forgive Dad faster? That I carried anger for so long? I think she'd understand. Mom was kind, but she wasn't a doormat. She had boundaries. Knew when to stand her ground. I found her journals a few months ago, hidden in a box in Dad's attic. Patricia found them while cleaning, asked if I wanted them. I read them in one sitting, crying through every page. She'd written about being sick, about watching me grow up knowing she might not see me graduate, get married, have kids, about Dad and how much she loved him but also worried about him. He's so afraid of being alone, she wrote. I worry he'll find someone just to fill the space I leave. I hope he waits. Heals first. Find someone who loves him, not just the idea of not being lonely. She'd written about me too, about how strong I was, how resilient, about hoping I'd find someone who saw my worth, who treated me with kindness. My girl deserves someone who adores her, she wrote, someone who sees all her beauty, inside and out. I hope she finds that. I hope she never settles for less. I'm not settling, Mom, I promise. The journals also contained something I wasn't expecting, entries about Veronica. They'd met briefly at some community event, months before Mom died. Met a woman today who made my skin crawl, Mom wrote. She was beautiful but cold. Everything about her was calculated. She asked about my illness in a way that felt predatory, like she was sizing up a business opportunity. I saw her talking to my husband later. The way she looked at him made me uncomfortable. I hope he stays away from her. Something about her feels dangerous. Mom had seen it, had known, and she'd been right. I took the journals home, keep them on my nightstand. Sometimes I read entries when I'm having a hard day, let her words comfort me. It's like having her back in a way. Her wisdom, her love, her guidance. On my way out of the cemetery last month, I passed a mother and daughter visiting another grave nearby. The mother was crying while her teenage daughter held her, whispering comfort. The girl had her mother's same nose, same gentle eyes, same careful way of wiping tears. I smiled. That's the kind of beauty that lasts. The kind that gets passed down not through genetics, but through how we treat each other. Through the lessons we choose to teach and the courage it takes to be kind when cruelty is easier. Veronica spent years trying to convince me that physical beauty was everything, that without it, I was worthless. She used the same tactics on Bella, weaponized appearance as a measure of human value. But she was wrong. Beauty fades. Kindness doesn't. Love doesn't. The impact we have on others, the way we make them feel, the grace we extend, that's what lasts. My mom was beautiful. Not because of her face, though she was lovely, but because of her heart. Because she chose compassion even when scared. Because she loved fully even knowing she'd leave. Because in her final days she worried more about us than herself. That's the legacy I'm trying to honor. Not perfection, not performance, not appearance, but genuine kindness, real love, choosing to be soft in a world that rewards hardness. Bella's learning this too. She told me recently that she barely thinks about her appearance anymore, doesn't check mirrors constantly, doesn't panic about aging, doesn't base her worth on how she looks. I just am, she said. I exist as a person with thoughts and feelings and dreams. My face is just the thing people see first. It's not who I am. That's growth. That's healing. That's breaking the chains Veronica spent years forging. Sometimes I see women who remind me of Veronica. Perfectly styled, sharp-edged, looking at the world like it owes them something. They talk about their daughters the way Veronica talked about Bella, with ownership and criticism disguised as love. They judge other women harshly, find flaws, make comparisons. I feel sorry for them. Not pity, but genuine sadness. They're trapped in a system that will eventually discard them, that values them only for things that disappear with time. They don't know there's another way. Their daughters will probably suffer, like Bella did, like I did. Will spend years in therapy, unpacking the damage, learning to value themselves beyond their appearance. Or maybe some will be lucky. Maybe they'll have someone who shows them there's another path, who stands up and says no, who refuses to accept cruelty as love. That's what I hope for. More people saying no, more boundaries, more healing, less Veronicas, more Patricias, more kindness, less performance. The wedding is in 3 months. I'm not nervous about marrying Elliot. I'm nervous about walking down the aisle in a white dress, knowing everyone will look at me, evaluate me, have opinions. The old wounds Veronica left run deep, but Bella's helping me shop for dresses. Patricia's reminding me that people will look because they care, not because they're judging. Elliot tells me every day that I'm beautiful and means it in a way that includes my personality, my kindness, my strength. I'm learning to believe them, learning to see myself the way Mom saw me, the way people who actually love me see me. It's hard, unlearning years of Veronica's poison, but I'm doing it, day by day, choice by choice, thought by thought. That's the final victory, isn't it? Not just escaping, but healing. Not just surviving, but thriving. Not just rejecting her definition of worth, but building my own. Veronica wanted me to believe I was less than. She failed. She wanted Bella to stay trapped. She failed. She wanted Dad to remain dependent. She failed. Every person she tried to control found a way out, found their strength, found their voice. That's her real legacy. Not the pain she caused, but the strength we found in overcoming it. And that, in the end, is the most beautiful thing of all. Veronica taught me what not to be, showed me exactly the kind of person I'd die before becoming. My mom taught me what I could become, left me a blueprint in her final months. And in the end, that made all the difference.